Thursday, March 5th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here along with you. What a beautiful afternoon yesterday. 81 degrees in Columbia, 80 in Jacksonville, almost 80 in Fayetteville and Greenville, North Carolina. All the Triad viewing area in the 70s. Charlotte just shy of 70, but some spots in the viewing area were in the 70s. And look at that, Boone and Asheville well into the 70s yesterday. Now these are current temperatures. And we will have falling temps throughout the day as an Arctic front continues to press through from north to south. Already northerly winds in place across northern North Carolina. And that is going to continue to push in much, much colder air here over the next 12 to 18 hours. So here's the setup today. Very messy storm system stretching from Texas to Massachusetts and Maine. Low pressure over North Georgia later this morning, rolling along that Arctic front, keeping the precipitation chances going. Now, as I'm cutting the video, this is a look at the radar across the region. You have some light rain, some drizzle across parts of the Piedmont zones, but the really substantial precipitation off to the north and west. Look at all the snow from New York and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, back through Kentucky and Tennessee. And really a nasty layer of ice involved in these purple and pink shaded areas. That's where you have an ice storm type of situation ongoing that extends down into northwest Alabama, parts of Mississippi, and in northern sections of Louisiana as well. So pretty heavy snow in northwest Mississippi and southern Arkansas and western Tennessee. And these are the warnings that are out. All the brightly pink shaded areas, those are winter storm warnings. And we do have winter weather advisories up for a good chunk of part of North Carolina, I-40 and points north, even in the Triad area down to roughly Highway 64. And, that'll be from later this afternoon and on into this evening. And I will detail that here as we roll through the video. Now, this is what it looks like on the RPM modeling here. You can see that precipitation pretty significant off to the north and west. And really, it's the tail end of the event that ends as some wintry precip here in North Carolina before the precipitation completely draws to a close. Now, there's your footprint of good snow totals from the European model. This is, of course, snow and sleet totals in addition to what has already occurred at the start of the model run. So that's on top of what has already fallen. And here's the setup. Again, rain for a lot of the day here across the Carolinas. And then with time, northern North Carolina, we see a transition to a mix of primarily sleet and freezing rain late afternoon and into the evening hours. Now, this is the rain product on the RPM modeling. Pretty good rain event here for parts of the region. And then again, let's focus on what the European model is printing out. Now, it colors everything that's snow and sleet as in this snow contour. So these numbers are going to skew high. Sleet does not accumulate in the same manner that snow does. But you get the idea that it's trying to put a little bit of at least minor accumulations on the ground. And I'll show you the detailed modeling in just a minute. Here's the basic idea that I'm going with. And I'll admit I have not spent nearly the depth of time up into this region that I have across North Carolina. But we're looking at, again, I think for the Triad and the Triangle regions over toward northeastern North Carolina, could see a trace to an inch of sleet and snow, mainly on the elevated surfaces, and then depending on the amount of freezing rain involved, maybe a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation. The ground temperature is still pretty warm, so I think this is going to be mainly an elevated surfaces deal, but temperatures will plummet tonight in the wake of this system, and so there could be some flash freezing on some of the road surfaces with lows heading down to around 20 or so in many spots. Tomorrow's going to be a cold day. Look at your Friday highs across the region. It's going to be a cold one, but a pretty rapid warm-up's on the way. Saturday, beautiful day, sunshine, and highs significantly warmer by Saturday afternoon. All right, so let's get to the high-resolution modeling. This is the 0Z run of the GFS, valid at early afternoon. We go 6 hours later, and you can see as that cold air spills in from the north, there is that wintry precip changeover across the Carolinas. The orange shades, that is sleet. The pink, that's freezing rain. The blue is snow. And then this all tapers off as we get into this evening and tonight as that system departs. So this is the precipitation type accumulation from the 0Z run of the GFS. You end up with a little bit of snow involved, a little bit of sleet involved, some freezing rain in some spots too, and of course plenty of rain as we go through the day. This is the snow accumulation map from the GFS computer model. Strip of heavy snow running from Arkansas and northwestern Mississippi, western Tennessee, and north and east, and then we'll see how deep the cold air can get around our area. Now, this was the 6Z run of the NAM computer model, And this is what it looked like at early afternoon. You go a little bit later in the afternoon, there's your sleet kicking in. I think this is probably a little bit more accurate in terms of the precipitation types with how this event will unfold. And then there it goes, a lot of sleet, I-40 and points north as this event then draws to a close as we get into this evening and tonight. So on the NAM, there's your snow and sleet accumulation map here. And again, I think this might be doing a pretty good job here. That's not a bad representation across North Carolina, I don't think. This is the snapshot or two from the high resolution NAM model, the 4-kilometer NAM valid. This is early afternoon, mid to late afternoon, and then finally as you get into the evening as the system's pulling away. Now I do note the regional Canadian model, it is much further north with the temperature profiles basically, and so you end up with something like that on the precipitation type contours. Sleet, I-40 and points north at the tail end of the event, maybe a touch of freezing rain too, not much snow. And let's see, finally behind this system, it does get cold tonight. These are low temperatures early tomorrow morning on the GFS computer model. Now it is sniffing out snow cover and probably overdoing the cold in this region and up in here. But I think lows 18 to 22 degrees across a lot of the Piedmont, pretty good estimation for tonight into tomorrow morning. So again, it could be some flash freezing overnight and the road surfaces that don't dry this evening. So really a tricky little system. This is not going to be a crippling winter storm in North Carolina by any stretch of the imagination, but there could certainly be some icy spots developing on some of our roadways, especially the bridges and the overpasses as you get toward, say, 4 to 8 p.m. as the tail end of the precipitation kicks over to a wintry mix for some of us. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody have a wonderful day, and God bless.